Hello, everyone. Apologies for starting the meeting late. It's as a result of network hitches and glitches, but we are here right now, and I would like to welcome all of you for taking your time to join us for today's training. This is the 1 month professional diploma training in peace and sustainable development provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. This training is offered for those that are following us on our social media handles, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you are here and you are not following us on Facebook or YouTube, kindly go ahead and follow us on our Facebook and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. The opportunity of getting this certificate at the end of it. Here and you have not been following us on YouTube on our social media handles, just go ahead and because we are going to use that as a yardstick to issue you this certificate as well. So do way to follow us and subscribe because training is meant for our followers and our subscribers. And because that's one way you can benefit, and that's even though it's free, it's for everybody to apply, but we expect you to be following us so that you can stand a chance to benefit from a lot of things from the institute that are being provided. So I would like to thank you sincerely for taking time to connect for today's training. It has been a wonderful experience so far, and we are almost getting close to the end of this training. Um, we left with like maybe 1 or 2 modules to cover, and then we are done for the training. All right. So tonight I'll be releasing part of the manual so that you can start going through it. Then when the whole manual is ready, then you have the whole of it and then study from there. All right, till first week of November. Exam is coming up first week of November, so that's what it's going to be. So please do wait to share the link with someone. Invite them to come and free. We are not taking anything from them. Them to get knowledge and make our society beautiful, peaceful, and better for all of us. That's what we want. So send it to young people, send it to people that have just finished secondary school. Let them be part of what we are doing here. All right, send it to students in higher institutions. If you're a lecturer here, send it to your student, let them join and be part of it. All right, and next training is coming up by November and it's on peace and conflict management. So let people register, share the link with someone, let them register, share at least to 10 people, let them register and be part of the training. Guide them through the registration, let them register and click on the WhatsApp link to join the WhatsApp group. It's like some people are forgetting to click on the WhatsApp form and join the WhatsApp link and join the WhatsApp group. That's the only way we can be able to reach out to you because we're not sending you your message to email or to anywhere. It's through WhatsApp. So it's better you join the WhatsApp group so that we can be able to reach out to you when the need arises. So that is it. So thank you very much for connecting for today's training. So do way to paraphrase what we are saying to know whether you are following us and you know what we're talking about here. So today we'll be looking at a very interesting topic, which is human rights and conflict prevention. Human rights and what? Conflict prevention. So that's Unit 2 of Module 6. Unit 2 of Module 6. We are looking at what? Human rights and conflict prevention. You can all agree with me that an abuse to human rights is a pathway to conflict. I say an abuse to the rights of the people is a pathway to conflict. When the rights of the people are being abused, when people are mistreated or maltreated, it leads to generate, create and facilitate the occurrence of conflict. It's a source of conflict. Human rights abuses is a source of conflict. So when you abuse people's rights, it leads to conflict. And that's what we are taking time to discuss this topic because it's very important. Many of the crises we are seeing around is as a result of people abusing other people's rights. And this can create tension, can create anxiety, anxiousness, and it leads to, you know, conflict. So human rights abuse is a potential source of what? Conflict. Or are we denying that? If we have anybody here that wants to deny what I'm saying, then you can make it in the comment plane. Let me know that I'm not saying the right thing. That abuse of human rights is not and can never be a cause of conflict. Let me know. Give me your valid reasons why it cannot be, so that we will know. But based on what we have here today, we are saying that an abuse to human rights is a cause and or a potential cause of conflict. Some people's rights may be abuses or may be abused, and they may choose to keep quiet and leave it. You understand? And go their own way. Some may not keep quiet. Some may keep quiet just to attack at the right time. You understand? So it does not necessarily mean that they want to let it go, but they feel that it's not the right time to attack. So they will come next time. They come when maybe you are less, you forgot, or you feel it's over before they will come for you. You understand? So abuse the human rights. There's one saying they say in my place. I don't know whether it's the same thing in your place, but there's a saying in adage that says that even the goat, if you trouble the goat so much, it will bite you. You know that it's very hard for a goat to bite. You know, a dog can bite easily, but it's very hard for a goat to bite. But there is an adage in my place that says that if you trouble the goat too much, it will also bite you. Do you understand? So when you abuse people's right, there's a possibility for conflict. All right, they will react. You understand? So that's what it means. Let's look at this: human rights and conflict prevention. So we're going to look at part A of this topic, which is international human rights law and conflict prevention. But generally, people know about human rights. We know all our rights now: the rights, freedom of association, right to live, uh, mobility, and all of those rights. The you know, the God-given rights for humankind. Do you understand? We all have, you know, the rights to live, and also we are entitled to job opportunities and all privileges as citizens of countries and all of that. So we have those privileges. Do you understand? That's fine. And that's our rights. Rights to education, right to this one, and all of that. So now we are going to look at international human rights law and conflict prevention. So we have different laws that are governing the rights of the people globally. All right, some of the or most of these laws originated at the United Nations Charter. All right, and many countries domesticated those laws, and they become, you know, the 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 pretext or the preamble or the framework for human rights of people of a particular country or region. So we have those international human rights laws that govern, uh, you know, different societies. So international human rights law prevents and also play crucial roles in conflict prevention by establishing norms and standards that protect individuals and communities from abuse or from abuses that can lead to tensions and violence. So we have those laws that when some people when they look at it, they don't want to try to harm you because it's there's a law protecting your rights, right, and the rights of others. And of course, where your rights start at ends, another one begins there. So all of those applies, but there are laws that are governing these things so that nobody's rights should be abused. But there are still abuses here and there. Do you understand? And that's why we are having conflicts here and there. So, um, but let's look at some of the, you know, those what those laws entails. All right. So some of these laws they ensure what they exist to promote what accountability. Some of these laws they exist to promote what accountability. So international human rights law holds states accountable for human rights violation. Right? Mechanisms such as the International Criminal Court provide a framework for prosecuting those responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity, deterring future abuses. I'll give one critical example. Charles Taylor, former president of Liberia. Charles Taylor. How many of you remember him? You understand? He was he was convicted at the International Court of Justice, or International Criminal Court rather. He was being convicted there because of what war crimes he committed during his time as the president of Liberia, Charles Taylor. You understand? And I think he was in prison until later on he died. You understand? So that's what it is. So international human rights law they exist to protect and also hold state accountable. So if you are misbehaving, thinking that you are the governor or you are the president, be careful because if it's been taken off, you'll be held responsible, right? I think the people of Benue State also, the people of Saturday and ISIS, during the passenger administration, they said the military guys who went and killed the people there unjustly. You understand? Extrajudicial, killings, and because of the conflict between the Jukum and the thieves. You understand? So what happened was that they said the military were killed, the military officer were killed according to what the government said, and then they went and gathered people and started shooting and killing them. So what happened at the end of the day is that the government of Benue State took it to the International Criminal Court or the International Court of Justice also. And at the end of the day, I think they awarded something up to is it up to 5 billion or so. And I think Nigerian government paid that money to the Benue State government, about I think about 5 billion or so, as a kind of compensation to the people that lost their loved ones. So this is what we're talking about here. So promoting accountability, it holds people accountable. Then it also establishes norms, right? The international human rights law help to establish what norms. Human rights treaties such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the International what Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the Convention on the Rights of the Child set clear standards for the treatment of individuals. These norms can guide government in their policies, reducing the likelihood of rights violations that could ignite conflict. So these are some of the laws that we're talking about here. All right, International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. So even as a political animals or political scientist or as a politician, let me put it that way, as a politician, you are playing politics. So there are some rights that governs and protects you. So if you write abuses, you can address the International Criminal Code and seek redress. Do you understand? Yes, that's what it is. If you have the capacity to take it at the international level, you can take it and seek redress. Do you understand? So, um, and then of course, when it comes time, I saw something online of recent from one of the humanitarian guys from Benue, uh, Kankuru. So, um, where he posted on his page of a young child who, maybe probably is an orphan and brought from the village into the city, which is the city of Makurdi also. And then this lady maltreated this guy to a point that you will see the beating, all the marks on the guy's body, all it's so amazing, so worried. You understand? To a point the guy dies. You understand? The boy died and the woman disappeared. She left the children and ran, left her children and ran for the fear of getting arrested. Do you understand? So you see, this is the thing we're talking about here. A child being abused, maltreated, beaten. So, and we have several people like that. It was this kind of a similar case that this particular family, ordinary president, almost loses his license, and as as a radio and a television, organization, the broadcasting organization or whatever, from the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission or whatever board. He nearly loses his license because of similar offenses or similar case like this, where a woman abused a child to a point carry hot water and pour on the child. You understand? And the matter was brought to the family. And the man, ordinary person, could not just control his emotions because of the level of that abuse. And he has to slap the woman. And what happened? Then people begin to raise eyebrow and why we use app. But that is just it. Although that is unprofessional anyway, but that's to show you how painful he felt when he saw the child. Do you understand? So he almost lose his license because of this kind of issues. Child abuse. As I'm talking to you now, there's a child in your backyard that is suffering. And some of you are seeing it and you are keeping quiet. You are saying that I don't want to have any problem with my neighbor. I don't want to be the one. Nobody should come and face me. Maybe the person is maybe even powerful, has money more than you, and the abuses is going on in that place, and you cannot say anything. Please, you are not doing that child any good. You can go and report anonymously. You can just go and drop something. You can write to the police station without identifying yourself. You can write to any of the human rights organizations without revealing your identity so that they can follow up and monitor. Do you understand? So that that child can be rescued. That child that died in Makodi now, it's possible that people have been watching and seeing the abuses that this boy was going through, and to a point that this guy was about to take. They took him to the orphanage, and of course, even there, the orphanage people were telling the woman to come and carry a child, and that nothing will happen there, and this and that. At the end of the day, the child died because of the abuse. Some of you are beating your wives. It's not even children. Some of you, the amazing things that even your own children, you abuse and maltreat, and sometimes if you see some parents, the way they beat their children, you wonder whether they are the ones that give birth to those children at all. They are beaten with annoyance and anger. I saw one video online when a man in Akwa Ibom, who's supposed to even be a lawyer, a barrister, beat his wife, pursuing him naked outside, running with blood, and was like nothing will happen to him. I appreciate the community people that came out and challenged him and also threatened to. I think they took him to court. You understand? So this is how it should be. Don't allow the abuser to continue to abuse someone's right in your backyard and you're keeping quiet. It's not correct. So there are human rights laws that protect the right of people. Now you're having an idea of what to do today. So in case you are not aware of these things, when next you see somebody abusing, and maybe it's a constant thing that is happening in your area, don't keep quiet anymore. All right. If you can even record it so that you can have evidence to. And if you cannot have any evidence and maybe you cannot record, please tell the security agencies and give them tips when the abuse is doing the abuse again. You call the attention of the security people so that they can come at that spot, and then it will be easier so that they'll have something to show. So they will not be looking for evidence here and there. Do you understand? So that the abuse will stop. Early warning mechanisms. The international human rights laws also provide early warning mechanisms so that you can be able to know when you should be able to respond, all right, and when you'll be able to do something. So human rights monitoring bodies like the NGOs can identify patterns of abuse or discrimination early on. Do you understand? That's what we're saying here. So once you report to any of these institutions, they can be able to follow up. They can monitor. And they can even pay someone to monitor and let them know. You understand? What does it cost to pay? Pay someone to monitor to save a life, so that when the abuser is caught, they can face the full wrath of the law. You understand? So this early warning can prompt preventive measures such as diplomatic interventions or sanctions. That is at the diplomatic level, at the international level. Maybe let's talk about war crimes, like what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. So they felt that what Russia was doing was not correct. They're just trying to impose it on Ukraine as a small country and all of that. So all international sanctions here and there to deter Russia from doing what they are doing. And but they're still doing it. So, but those sanctions are there. You understand? Diplomatic sanctions, financial, economic sanctions, you know, oil, and so many other aspects of the sanctions. You understand? Military threats, sanctions, and all of that they are going on. So, empowering civil society. So, international human rights laws support the work of civil society organizations that advocate for rights and justice. Some of you here, you say you are a human rights activist. All right, so I think this is going to be a refreshment for you. It's going to be something like a refresher topic for you, right? So empowering local actors to address grievances can help mediate tensions and foster dialogue, reducing the risk of conflict. So that's what it is. So empowering international laws empower um, civil society organizations, both international, local, and community-based civil society organizations. You understand? So that they can be able to do their work without fear. So promoting inclusivity, human rights law also promote what inclusivity, so that people will not suffer what segregation, discrimination, you know, favoritism, and all of that, or nepotism. Do you understand? So human rights frameworks emphasize the importance of participation and inclusivity in governance, so ensuring that marginalized groups have a voice in political processes that can address underlying grievances and prevent disenfranchising and prevent the disenfranchisement that may lead to conflict. Do you understand? So there's possibility that if this is not put in place, then marginalized groups can be disenfranchised. And what that happens is that when that happens, it causes frustration. And when frustration comes in, what happens? People begin to protest, begin to cause conflict. Do you understand? So the international human rights law also strengthen what rule of law. They strengthen the rule of law, promoting adherence to the rule of law and human rights can help create stable societies. So part of the problems what we're having in our nations is because people don't respect laws. Government is safe, it's not saying don't respect their law. They give a judgment, a court give a judgment, they bring it to you, you refuse to honor it, you refuse to implement it, you refuse to execute it. And there's nothing like a stay of execution. No, there's nothing like that. There's no nothing. And yet you are refusing to implement it. If you go to Brekete family, people come there with cases, cases that they won in court. What they want is the implementation, and implementation becomes a problem. So we also get to a point, like I told you before, we are by November in our convention, we are going to inaugurate the what we call the Justice Forum. So set of professionals who can also be responsible for addressing some of these challenges that I'm talking about here. So if you write these appeals, you can report to them. They will take it up. We have three sons in the institute so far, and I believe more are coming. We have one justice that are coming. We inducted some, uh, you know, they are high-ranking officers in the judiciary. Although they have not gotten to the position, they are not going to gotten the title of sons and all of that, but high-ranking, in the judiciary, even in the Sharia law as well. You understand? It's not just even Sharia laws. We have one that is a area court judge in the Sharia Court of Appeal. You understand? Have them in the institute. So these are the people that are going to form part of this group, so that they will go out there and you know fight for people who are being abused, so that the mentality of people will be corrected. It's quite okay to have misunderstanding. That's fine, but try to resolve your problem amicably without abusing anybody. So it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter how connected you are. It doesn't matter what position you attain in society. Just maintain some level of decorum, right? Supporting peace processes. So international human rights law also can inform peace negotiations by ensuring that agreements include human rights protection. For example, transitional justice mechanism can address past abuses and promote healings, reducing the chances of renewed conflict. So international human rights law also helps to support peace processes. They can entrench a process whereby healings can take place. It doesn't matter, there's no need to seek for revenge. Do you understand? There's no need to seek for revenge. You can forget and let go. All right. So preventing discrimination. International human law also come against discrimination so heavily. Discrimination like, on the basis of what race, ethnicity, religion, or gender, you know, can all of this can help to mitigate the tension among different groups. Some of the agitation we used to have in our nation, in Nigeria here, for instance, is the agitation of non-inclusion, right, in the governance of the nation. There are some people that are crying to be marginalized. And when you look at the appointments of government, sometimes you look at the lopsided nature of appointment, you know that something is just not going on correctly. You understand? So some of these things, But international human laws, if honored, if followed, they help to prevent discrimination. So you can see what international human rights laws are doing for you and for the society. So get to know more. Get to know what your national laws say concerning your human rights. The reason why sometimes we keep quiet on certain things because we don't know. We don't know what to do. We are ignorant. We don't know what to do. Some people keep quiet not because they want to keep quiet. They keep quiet because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to go about it. And that's the reason why we need civil society organization to take over some of these things. Right? I saw one some time ago. They beat the sister. This is an incident that also happened in Benue State as well. The man beats his sister to a point that it was very, very terrible to behold. Do you understand? With someone's eyes. And then he took it up, civil society organization took it up, and what happened? The annoying aspect of it is was the lady herself that was begging that they should allow his brother. It's a family matter, and this one, oh that one, that, and this one that she was one being disrespectful to the brother, and that deserve. It it sounded so funny, but the man was looking for an appointment. I think also, so they were changing the girl also was changing language simply because she wants the brother to get the appointment by all means. But if I'm the governor, how will I still appoint such a person in any position? I mean, he was given appointed, so they was also waiting for confirmation. And all this manner was coming out. I will just drop your name one hand. I'll not even think twice. In fact, even if you were the one that sponsored my election, I will drop your name because associating with you is but the governor then said was on another level. So because he was also abusing the rights of the pensioners, was not paying the pensioners. Do you understand? People that work for the state for how many years, 35 years, retire, you cannot pay them their pension. So what kind of it's a abuse at the highest level. Abuse with disregard to the elder statesmen who serve the state, pay the price, and now retire for you to pay them their pension, which is how much? Nothing to write home about, but you cannot pay. So such kind of people will welcome any abuser in their government because they themselves are abusing people's right. And of course, I think the man was appointed, confirmed, and work. You see. So these are the issues. So if you are to pay people their salary and you are not paying, it's an abuse of their rights. They earn it. And so why are you keeping it? So if you are here and you are fond of not paying your staff, please stop. You are abusing their rights. All right? Don't say it's a privilege that you are employed. If you do not employ them, someone else will employ them. Are you the only person that have the job? If you cannot pay them, let them go. But don't abuse their rights. Whatever they earn, give it to them. That's right. So because we have international law that are protecting. So we say that international laws, you know, help to promote what? Accountability. They establish norms. They provide early warning mechanism. They empower civil society. They promote what? Inclusivity. They promote what um, uh, the rule of law, that is, they support and strengthen the rule of law, supporting peace process and prevent against what any form of discrimination. So let's look at the another topic, the role of the United Nations and regional bodies in promoting human rights. What is the UN doing so far as the body is concerned to protect the rights of the people globally? And what is the role of the regional bodies? Right? The United Nations and regional bodies play critical roles in promoting and protecting human rights globally. Actually, we have the Human Rights Commission or whatever. We have the Universal Declaration Charter, which is done by the United Nations, and we have several countries that are members of that charter. Right? So their effort encompasses various mechanisms, activities, and frameworks aimed at advancing human rights standards and addressing violations. So United Nations, let's look at what United Nations is doing to protect the rights of the people globally. Number one is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR. Universal Declaration of what? Human Rights, adopted in 1948. After what? After the whole. Okay, if you don't know, let me keep quiet. Let me not go and put you into a difficult history, or you should know. But there's what we call the Holocaust, right? Happened where? In Israel. Israel got independence in 1948, right? So I think you're understanding the story now and the connections, all right? So the United Nations declarations on human rights is a foundational document that sets out fundamental human rights that are universally as protected. So it serves as a guiding framework for human rights standard globally. Do you understand? So many of like Nigeria too. What Nigeria have as the human rights laws is from this thing that we have just read. This thing is what Nigeria has domesticated as a member of the United Nations to make sure that the rights of our citizens are being protected. Human rights treaties. The UN has established several key human rights treaties, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. These treaties create binding obligations for states to respect and promote human rights so that I have the freedom to worship which God I want to worship. Using a stone I carry put here. I always kneel down to worship my stone. Don't come and disturb my peace. That's my belief. You understand? I should be protected. So I shouldn't be angry when I see a Muslim person praying and saying their Muslim prayers. You shouldn't be angry when you see a Christian praying and saying their Christian prayers. You shouldn't be angry when you see the traditional people doing their thing. Do you understand? So cultural, I'm talking about cultural rights, social and cultural rights. We have a treaty, we have a law on this. So these treaties create a binding obligations. Right? We have Human Rights Council, the United Nations Human Rights Council. The council monitors human rights situation worldwide, conducts universal periodic reviews of member states, and addresses human rights violations through resolution and special procedures. EGC, special rapporteur. I think of recent we inducted a member or someone as a member of the institute who is working as the coordinator of the international human rights in Borno State also. It's like a state coordinator, all right, on human rights, representing the United Nations Human Rights Council in Nigeria. Is the coordinator in Borno State. think he gave me his card also, so I have it here. Right. So that's what it is. So Office of the United Nations Human Rights Commission for Human Rights, right? Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. Okay, we have a commissioner in charge of this office who takes care of the rights of the people who receive complaints, who address some of these issues. Do you understand? Who provides, who work the frames, the human rights laws framework, and all of those things. They are people who preside over these things. So the OHCHR leads the United Nations human rights efforts, providing support to countries in implementing human rights standards, conducting investigation, and promoting awareness and education. So they are the ones to come and tell you, see, this is what we are doing now. Oh, this is what we have changed to now. Oh, this is the improvement. This is the new standard. Do you understand? We have a office of the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner for human rights. All right. So maybe one day when I become an ambassador ambassador of the United Nations, I'll facilitate so that the member of the institute can be appointed the commissioner of of human rights. You know, I hope you will be happy to see that happen. I'm not joking. No, I'm saying the truth. If you want the surely come to pass, if, if Jesus dies, it will come to pass. So, who a member of the institute can be an ambassador, and they recommend also a member of the institute for such appointment. You understand? So it's possible. So peacekeeping operations. So United Nations peacekeeping missions often include mandates to protect human rights in conflict zones, helping to create conditions for peace and stability. So even when in war zone, the rights of the vulnerable person must be protected. The rights of the unarmed civilians must be protected. So you don't need to abuse. That's why people are complaining of Israel abusing the rights of Palestinians, the rights of Lebanese, and the right of everyone around them. You understand? So it's one of those things. But the United Nations provides security for peacekeeping missions, and their job is to ensure that people's rights are being protected and lives are not just being lost anyhow. You understand? So that's it. We have specialized agencies, various UN agencies such as UNICEF, UNHCR promote specific human rights agendas such as children's rights, refugee what, protection, and gender equality, contributing to a comprehensive approach to human rights. So these ones are specialized agencies, specialized in dealing with children, specialized in humanitarian council for refugees. You understand? So all of those things are there so that the rights of people that are in the war zone can be protected. The right of the children in the war zone can be protected. And that is a job UNICEF has been doing for several years now. Some of you are working with UNICEF. I have some of our members that are working with UNICEF, do you understand? So it's possible. It's possible. So they do a lot of things, right? So far as it pertains to children, right? So that's it. So regional bodies. So we'll talk about the United Nations. So whatever we say here is what the United Nations is doing, all right, and has been doing over the years. So we are looking at the role they play, right? So we say one of the things they are able to achieve is to create a universal declaration on human rights that has a resemblance of whatever that is being happening around the world, uniformity. Human rights treaties, right? Human Rights Council, Office of the United Nations High Commissioner human rights, peacekeeping operations, specialized agencies, all of that are under United Nations. Let's look at some of the regional bodies that also are helping to protect the rights of the people in their regions and also in their various countries. We talk about regional bodies. Number one is European Union, EU. The EU promotes human rights through its policies, trade agreements, and diplomatic relations. The EU Charter of Fundamental Rights outlines rights and freedoms applicable to its member states. So any member that is a member, any country that is a member of the European Union stands the chances to get protected and then get this protection from you know any country within the EU bloc. You understand? EU bloc. All right. So this is the issue. So the EU promotes human rights through its policies. So these are some of the issues. African Union, European Union, African Union. The AU, that is African Union Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights, emphasize collective and individual rights. The AU also has mechanisms for promoting human rights, including the African Code on Human Rights, on Human and People's Rights. So at the UN, at AU level, we also have in Africa a code specifically designed to deal with the issue of human rights abuses. We also have African Code on Human and People's Rights. You understand? So this code is to take charge of this responsibility and make sure that people's rights are being protected. Organization of American States. The Organization of American States promotes human rights through the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, addressing violations and promoting rights in the Americas. So, as an Americana or as an American, you stand the chances to benefit from the workings of these organizations, right? Because they exist to protect your rights. They exist to make sure that your rights are not being abused. And that's why they have more confidence than us because they know their rights. They know what they can do. We have uh, we have the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, all right? Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, all right? While ASEAN has been criticized for its non-interference policy, it has established the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights to promote and protect human rights in the region. So you see what has been happening in the region, right? China and Japan or South Korea, North Korea, you know, Russia and Ukraine, all of those are struggling there. And then also in the Middle East, you see Israel and Iran and other neighboring countries. So they have been established to also protect and promote the rights of the people. We have the Arab League. The Arab Charter on Human Rights aims to promote and protect human rights among member states, although its implementation and effectiveness have faced challenges. All right. So the countries that are members of Arab League know what it means. But there are a lot of challenges when it comes to what is happening in Somalia, what is happening in Palestine, what is happening in Lebanon, what is happening between Israel and Iran, what is happening in Syria, and all of those things make it quite complex. Both the UN and regional bodies often collaborate on human rights initiatives. They may engage in joint programs, share best practices, and coordinate responses to human rights crises. That is collaborative effort. So UN as an organization has been collaborating with others to make sure that other member states or other countries to make sure that the issue of the rights of people are being protected. And then there are challenges. Despite these efforts, both the UN and regional bodies face challenges, including political war resistance from member states, or some of them must say, I'm independent. You cannot be controlled. This your membership is voluntary. I can decide to withdraw my membership. Do you understand? And so limited enforcement mechanism and insufficient resources. So these are some of the challenges. So let's look at some case studies, right? Let's look at some case studies of human rights abuses leading to conflict. And it's going to be our last topic for today. So if you have not shared this meeting with someone, share the meeting with them, invite them to be part of what we are doing here. And then also let's share the link. I said this thing before, some of you join us. Um, the, the upcoming training, we have the links available. Please don't just keep the link with you. Don't just fill the form and then leave it. Share it with people. Let them also feel and be part of the training. That's the best you can do. All right. Share the link with them. Let them also take and be part of the training. Thank you very much. By so doing, you'll be spreading the message of peace. All right. So now let's look at some of the case studies of human rights abuses leading to conflict. Case studies of human rights abuses leading to what conflict. Okay, we have several case studies, and the one that interests me the most is the one that I'm so familiar with that I used to make references, and which is it's not from Nigeria. Not from Nigeria. People just forget it. Nigeria is on a different level. Nigeria is on a different level. Do you understand? So I'm talking about where stability has returned, normalcy has returned, and sense also has returned. I'm not talking about people that fought civil war and refused to learn something. That's Nigeria. Fought civil war. Millions of people died, but yet they refused to learn something. No, I'm not talking about Nigeria yet. I'm talking about other countries. So let's look at them. So what are the case studies? Number one on my list here is Rwanda. Rwanda, 1994. You all remember what happened. Yes, some of us were of age already, but still young anyway, but at our age, right? 1994. So I was a young boy, you understand? So Rwanda, 1994. What happened? I'm talking about Rwanda as a case study of human rights abuses leading to conflict. Case studies of human rights abuses leading to conflict. Because we say that if the people's rights are not carefully studied, or people's rights are not carefully protected, and there are abuses, then there are possibilities that it will raise conflict. And that's what we're talking about here. So we are giving you some case studies of human rights abuses that led to conflict. So this is what we want to examine here and see. Now we say Rwanda number one, 1994 genocide. Background, ethnic tensions between the Hutu and the Tutsi Ethnic tensions between the Hutu and the Tutsi populations were exacerbated by historical what, grievances and political manipulation. What was the human rights abuses here? The Rwandan government, dominated by the Hutus, hmm, dominated by what? The Hutus. So if you are from Rwanda and you are from the Hutus population, or you are from the Tutsis population, apologies, we are not trying to renew what happened in your time past. We're just citing an example so that people from other nations can learn a lesson and they can also try to avoid that part. Do you understand? We know Rwanda to be one of the beautiful countries now, doing well despite this challenge. Do you understand? And I used to make reference to one of your city, Kigali, which is the most cleanest city in Nigeria, in Africa rather. So we are proud of you, how you have recovered from this challenge, and you're on the path of history. Do you understand? Making history and making it bold despite your differences. So we are not saying these things to refresh the wounds that happened in the time past. What we are doing here is just to make a reference so that others can learn and avoid that part. Do you understand? Because we have different many countries that have different ethnic groups. Do you understand? So they can learn a lesson from this and they told the other part. Do you understand? Told the part of this. So so there was this tension between the Hutu and the Tutsis population, and this was very heavy issue. So human rights abuses. The Rwandan government, dominated by Hutus, engaged in systematic systematic discrimination against the Tutsis, culminating in mass killings. Culminating in what? Mass killing. Mass killing. How many people were killed? Conflict outcome. Let's look at the conflict outcome. The genocide resulted in approximately 800,000 deaths in just 100 days. In 100 days, 8,000, 800,000, 800,000, more than a half million people died. In those days. This is a big figure. The international community failure to intervene during the early warning signs contributed to the scale of what the tragedies. Let's talk about the fact that the international human rights law provide early warning mechanism. So there were some signs here, but those that were supposed to intervene did not take step on time, and of course, it became a problem. Talk about Syria. Syria 2011 to date. What is the background of the story here? Discontent, discontent with the authoritarian regime of Bashar Assad led to peaceful protests demanding democratic reforms. Right? So, what was the human rights abuses here? Human rights abuses. The government's violent crackdown on protesters, including arbitrary arrests, torture, and killings, escalated the tensions there. So, you would like to know the outcome? The situation deteriorated into a protracted civil war, resulting in hundreds of thousands of deaths and millions displaced, with various factions and foreign powers becoming involved. You know, you know the story very well. Syria was booming. I mean, it was on fire around 2011. It was on fire, and even up to now, it's still on fire. But they are still on fire on the low key, but they're still on fire. But in 2011, it was infernal. It was massive destruction. Do you understand? Syria. I'm not, I don't know why they're saying millions, because a lot die, a lot of people die. And Assad, Bashar Assad, still remain in power. I think up till today. Talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina, 1992 to 1995. Background: the breakup of Yugoslavia led to ethnic tensions among Bosniaks, Serbs, and Croats. Do you understand? So all of them were uh, different tribes and ethnic groups that come together to form the the Soviet Union. All right, the Soviet Union, and during the Soviet Union dissolved, what happened? They go. Even Yugoslavia came out from the former Soviet Union, but because of the tension that was among the ethnic groups, they still have to split more. You understand? And then some of them left on their own. And then we have a country called Bosnia and Herzegovina. Do you understand? It's a single country. But see the name is coined by two ethnic groups. Do you understand? It's you know. So now, what was the human rights abuses here? Ethnic cleansing campaigns, particularly against the Bosniaks, include mass killing, forced displacement, and concentration camps. What was the outcome of this conflict? The Bosnian War resulted in an estimated 100,000 deaths and widespread atrocities, prompting international intervention and the eventual Dayton Agreement, which agreement that brought Bosnia and Herzegovina as a state or as a country. Do you understand? So that's what was the agreement. At the end of the day, they have to go their separate way as a country, and they are now as a country. Darfur, Darfur in Sudan, 2003. They are still fighting. Background: long-standing ethnic and economic tension in Darfur escalated into violence when liberal groups attacked the government. Now it's not the government, it's not the rebel groups that are attacking the government though, it's top government officials who are fighting to take authority after they ousted the former president. They now take over, they want to, the other one is claiming, the other one is claiming. Nobody is willing to cooperate. They are killing, destroying properties. So human rights abuses, the Sudanese government responded with brutal counter-insurgency tactics, including area bombardments, mass killing, and widespread rapes. You understand? The conflict has led to hundreds of thousands of deaths and millions displaced, drawing international condemnation and calls for accountability. Is has anybody accounted for it? The former president South, the two generals are fighting now. So who want to come and take account of what? Who want to hold who accountable? So Myanmar, that is the Rohingya crisis 2016 to date, because the crisis has not been cleared. Myanmar. Background: the Rohingyas, a Muslim minority in predominantly Buddhist Myanmar, have faced decades of discrimination and statelessness. I get the point now. This one is an ethnic and a religious matter. Let's say it is a religious matter. The Buddhists and the Muslims, and the fight has been on for years and still on. Human rights abuses in 2016 and 2017, the Myanmar military launched violent operation against the Rohingyas, involving killings, sexual violence, and arson. So what was the outcome? Over 700,000 Rohingya flew to Bangladesh, creating a humanitarian crisis and ongoing tension in the region, which called for accountability from the international community. But even the international community responses on this matter was not so encouraging. Do you understand? I was following the story some time ago, but at some point I stopped following it. You know, because at some point I was not feeling comfortable with the stories, so I just stopped listening to it and watching some films and documentaries concerning the matter. So somehow I'm not up to date about the story anyway, because at some point I was not showing it, but I know that they are still suffering that discrimination and they are still being pushed out. Do you understand? So that is what it is. Venezuela 2010 till today. Political and economic instability under the leadership of Hugo Chavez and later Nicolas Maduro led to increased authoritarianism, the high-handedness of people. Do you understand? So human rights abuses, the government has been accused of extrajudicial killings, arbitrary detentions, and repression of dissent. That's opposing views or the opponents, the opposition. Do you understand? Government don't want to hear any opposition. Just keep quiet, don't talk anything. All right. So human rights abuses with it. What is the conflict outcome here? Widespread protests, humanitarian crisis, and mass immigration have resulted in deepening division within society and ongoing political conflict. Some of you know about Venezuela. At some point, the economy was the worst in the region. You understand? Because of these issues. Talk about Chile. Chile in 1973. Background political polarization and economic challenges led to a coup d'etat against democratically elected President Salvador Allende. And what was the human rights abuses? The military regime under Augusto Pinochet engaged in widespread human rights abuses, including torture, forced disappearance, and extrajudicial killings. You understand? Conflict outcome. The authoritarian rule led to decades of repression and social unrest, with lasting impact on Chilean uh, society and politics. So this is how Chile also received their own, you know, part of the story. So, but these are some of the case studies, just to show us a few of some of the abuses, right? Some people in our nation will also abuse, but nobody is willing to reconcile because bad way, the people in Syria, no issue. The Rohingyas, nobody is there for them on their own. You understand? And it's very bad. But this is the much we can take for today. So I'm going to the comment section if I can see any question. But before I go, let me do a recap of some of the case studies that we have talked about. We talked about Rwanda in 1994, the Hutus and the Tutsis. I know it was more of an ethnic cleansing against the Tutsis. Talk about Syria 2011 to date, the Bashar Assad still doing much harm. Talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina, they are also there. Venezuelans, Darfur, Darfur, Sudan, Myanmar Rohingya crisis, and all of that are what we have talked about here. So let me just go to the comment section. If I see any comment, I'll respond. I'll respond. I'm not seeing any question. Oh. So it means that people don't have any questions. Alabi. Alabi is asking a question. Oh. Let me answer it. Uh-huh. Alabi, you are saying what makes it difficult for the United Nations to intervene in the ongoing human rights abuse in Israel-Palestine crisis? The issue is a complex issue. It's a very, very complex issue because United Nations itself is against terrorism. You understand? And when you talk about Palestine is not yet a state of its own. It's still under the control and under the watch of Israel. And what happened in Palestine some time ago was the Hamas, which has been termed as a terrorist organization, to won election and have part of the administration being, or majority of the position being controlled by members of Hamas. Do you understand? So as a result of that, it's quite difficult for United Nations to come in and say something authoritatively. If they say Israel should stop or they come to fight Israel, then it shows that they are not also sincere when they talk about the issue of terrorism, because whatever Hamas was doing is being termed as an act of terrorism. Do you understand? Yes, they may feel that they are fighting for their own rights, um, but so far as they're not doing it in the right way, then they are being termed as terrorist organization. Do you understand? So they are termed as a terrorist group. So once they have that categorization as a terrorist organization, then they have they have limited privileges. Do you understand? They have limited privileges, and that's why it seems as if the United Nations is being powerless, because the United Nations cannot go against Israel strongly because the United Nation is backing Israel because they feel that Hamas are terrorists, and of course they should not. And if the United Nations will go against Israel strongly, then it will also defeat the essence of what they are talking about concerning terrorism. Do you understand? So, it will also encourage terrorist organizations everywhere to begin to respond. Do you understand? And that's why the the Hutus and the what they call it, the Houthis and the Hezbollahs are also attacking. And these are all organizations that are considered as the terrorist organizations. So you see, in the midst of this kind of situation, it will be very, very, very difficult for United Nations to respond uh, aggressively. And apart from that, there are also political issues that are involved at the United Nations Security Council, where we have permanent members of the or the Security Council, and there are seven of them, and all of them have veto power. And what that simply means is that if the whole General Assembly agreed on a particular thing and one of them veto it, once just one of them voted it, it's cancelled. That's why all the resolution, all the voting that has been against Israel, none has been implemented. Why? Because the United Nations always veto it. And so once the United Nations veto a matter, no matter what the resolution of the General Assembly, it comes to nothing. Do you understand? So once Russia veto a thing, whatever you do is nothing. So that's what is the issue now. So so the politics at international level, until the issue of veto power is addressed, some of these issues cannot be addressed easily. Do you understand? So that's just uh, so United Nations is not really a toothless bulldog. Somebody say, are they just a toothless bulldog? No, The United Nations is not a children's book, dog, but there are some, it's an organization, and membership of the organization is voluntary. And of course, there are also principles governing the membership of the United Nations. And there's what we call the veto power principle, which is also in place. So all of these are, it's like they are working against the system itself. Do you understand? So when, if the Secretary General wants to do a thing, which is the General Assembly comes together to agree on a thing, but so far as the Security Council, and this is a matter of security, so far as the Security Council, one member veto any decision taken by the General Assembly is null and void. It's not going to work. So this is what is happening. So that veto power is actually a problem, and it must be addressed anyway. Do you understand? So what is UN really doing to stop human rights abuses in so many countries? United Nations has, United Nations has provided a framework for countries to be able to protect the rights of their people. And until someone take it up, if your country fails to protect your rights, and maybe a particular group of people or a set of individuals take it up to the international community, they will be able to respond. Like I gave you instance, like the people of Benue State, when during Obasanjo administration, when the two people from Okum local government were attacked by the Nigerian military, what happened? They took that matter to the International Criminal Court, and what happened? The International Court of Justice, or anyone, and then an award was given. And I think Nigeria paid the Benue State government a compensation of about 5 billion. You understand, as compensation for the people that were killed extrajudicially. So these things are there, but except to take it up and approach the International Court of Justice or International Criminal Courts for your rights to seek redress, that you will receive attention. Do you understand? But the fact is that the United Nations has provided a framework for countries to be able to protect the rights of their people. And so once you're a member of the United Nations, then you are expected to domesticate what the framework has said, so that the right of the people in your country can be protected. Like I give you instances, even president of nations have been convicted at the International Criminal Court, like Charles Taylor, former president of Liberia, for instance. Do you understand? Was also convicted and punished and sent to prison. I think he even died in prison, also out when he died eventually. So I think the United Nations is doing its bit, but until a set of people take it up before they can be able to do anything. But once you have not taken it up, they will not do anything, because these are independent countries. They consider them as independent nations, and those that have what we call the right of sovereignty also is another factor that is also stopping United Nations to do something authoritatively, because there are limitations when it comes to an independent country. Do you understand? They may choose to withdraw from the United Nations, and then the United Nations cannot do anything. You understand? They can do whatever they want to do, because they will say they are not a member state of the United Nations. Of course, you cannot approach them. You understand? So this is some of the issues. So uh, United Nations is doing the bits. It's provided a framework. So let the countries follow the framework that has been provided and work to deal with that issue. Yeah, yeah. Now, what one defines a group varies. A group that is termed terrorist to someone is rebel or freedom fighters. And so it depends on how you look at it. But we expect that there's a way to approach issue, even if you are offended or even if you are fighting for your freedom. It's not allowed that you should fight it in a violent way. There's a way you can agitate for your rights without being violent. Do you understand? And so when a certain group of people decide to be killing people in the name of freedom fighting, then it does not make sense, so to say. Yeah, you can go. We have seen situation whereby people fight without carrying any gun, but their their interests were you know were met. So the issue of Palestine and Israel shouldn't have been the issue uh, of fighting and killing. In fact, it's the killing of the matter that even has elongated the matter. Do you understand? Assuming the killing has not been taking place, and nobody is being viewed as an enemy. Nobody is being viewed as an enemy. I don't think we wouldn't have been to where we are now. Do you understand? Because several efforts have been made to, even at the United Nations, an agreement was reached for two-state factor for the two countries, for the two, that is for Palestine and Israel to agree on a two-state factor so that Palestine can have their own full-fledged independence. Do you understand? And govern their own. But now Israel is afraid because once you give them independence in this kind of state, where they have people who are killing and attacking, then it becomes very, very difficult. So if freedom fighting will means killing people, then it will mean that it will take a long time for you to get the freedom indeed. Most especially in a situation whereby you are fighting with someone that is more powerful than you. You understand? And there is also international politics revolving around it. You understand? So it is uh, one is international politics. Two, you are fighting for your right. That's fine. Don't fight it with weapons. Fight it with words. Fight it with writings. Create histories that are different, not violent ones. I think it will be better. It's the fighting that has elongated the matter to date. When you look at the Holocaust, if maybe you have not read about the Holocaust, maybe you should go and read about it and look at some of these genesis that are elongated the conflict between Palestine and Israel to where we are today. Do you understand? It has been like this for a while now, over 70 years. Do you understand? So these are some of the challenges. So, but um, if you must fight for your rights, fight it in the right way, not in a violent way. Yet sometimes you may push to that extent, but keep fighting in a genuine way so that you'll not be considered as a terrorist organization. And so, because somebody who termed you as a terrorist organization is more powerful than you, so what will you do? And they are also playing the politics at the international level. You understand? So it's better you go in a genuine way and create allies and then get what you want and then have your independence. That's the politics that the Palestinians have not been able to play out. You understand? They have not been able to get that politics right. And they are angry, they are grieved, and so they are using that anger. And you use anger, you cannot achieve anything. They should use diplomacy to gain what they want. You understand? It's not anger. If you use anger, you will not get it. You will always be viewed from the negative perspective, and you will be addressed from that negative perspective. And that's what Israel has been capitalizing on. They have been capitalizing on the attack and nothing else. Do you understand? So, but if they use diplomacy, they can get their results within short possible time. So, Juliet, you are saying that Harriet, you are saying that some of Nigeria leaders need to jail like Chastel. It's okay. Yes. So who who is that Nigerian leader that needs to be jailed like Chastel? It is well. Uh, so don't fight for your rights with war instrument, but with dialogue. That is it. That would be better. International politics is one of the greatest world problems, and it's threatening world sustainable peace. Actually, the international politics is because it's a game of interest. Do you understand? The politics is the politics of interest. So once someone's interest is not being protected, it becomes a problem, and they are advancing their interest. So, and when their interest is threatened, they work everything to protect it. So far as America and the West is concerned, Iran is their problem, and they don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. Do you understand? So, because it's a threat to their existence. So, as a result of that, they are doing everything possible to make sure that they don't have it. And it's one of the number one issue that is causing all the problems that we're seeing in the Middle East. You understand? If they allow peace to even come to that region for once, it will make Iran to produce nuclear weapons. So they don't want the peace to come. They want crisis to remain there so that they will make sure that the 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 country does not produce nuclear weapons. You understand? Because one day Iran, they can race anytime. They will just release missiles to go and kill anybody. You understand? So this is the issue. So international politics is one of the things that is causing a lot of problems. Anyway, so thank you very much. I think I've taken most of your questions and concerns, except there's anyone I didn't know. So thank you for being part of this training. So you'll be watching out in a WhatsApp group. I may drop the material this evening. Someone is asking, sir, will the institute in future award degrees like HND, PGD, and PhD? Let's pray and hope so that God will bring us to that stage. Someone is asking, when is ADR exams? And the ADR exams will be coming up hopefully by Saturday. The groups that have done their presentation, but maybe we're hoping that by Sunday we should conclude on every presentation. So if we are done with presentation on Sunday, maybe by Monday people will write your exams, because I don't want the exams to cross the other month, and I don't want it to take the last Saturday of the month of this month. So I don't want it to get to last Saturday of the month, because I don't want it to crash with this one, because this exam will be coming first week of November, right? So I don't want the two of them to be too close, so that you people can, some of you are still doing this training, so you can have time to also prepare for this examination as well. So what I will do is that maybe by Friday, Saturday, those that have presented their simulation and have done their simulation presentation, they'll write their exams. Then those that have not presented, we'll still give them grace to present so that they can also write their exams. That's what we'll do. So thank you very much. So someone is asking, when are we getting manual? And watch out in the group today. Watch out in the group today. We will share the manual, and there's something I need to work on tonight. Once I'm done with it, then I will send it. Then subsequently we'll complete the whole manual and give you at the end of the day the complete one. We have two modules to add to what I'm going to send today. The one I'm sending now will cover module 1 to 6. You understand? So we'll still add two modules to it, and then after the training we'll send the whole manual to you. So but I'm sending one today, so watch out in the WhatsApp group. You'll get it there. Please, can I join another group to present my group? It's not coming up. Yes, if you can join another group, just do so that you can do your own presentation. Thank you very much. So we'll see you on Thursday by 7 p.m. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye.